Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Nodding. In this episode, we're gonna try to do some kind of lofting operations, and we're gonna do that using Spare Chalk add-on in Blender. So the idea is that if you have like a bunch of curve on the object level, something like this, and you want to be able to loft them to create some kind of surface. Apparently, you can do that using one of the Spare Chalk nodes. Um, let's see how this can be accomplished. So, file save as svloft advanced. Oops, save it first. So the nice thing about this is that you can actually do the lofting while having a different number of points for the curve. So if I subdivide this curve and now we have this curve that's slightly different, so I'll just make it like that. So we have this one have four points, this one have 4 points, this one have 8. I'm gonna select all of them and then Control G to group them into a we can actually operate and create lofting. So let's see how it's accomplished. So objects in and get our group, get selection. So we have our circle in Spare Chalk to be processed. And first of all, let's right click and connect to the viewer draw. And here we want to see how it looks. We also actually needs to use the matrix. You can plug in the matrix like that, but it's better is if you actually use apply matrix first. So matrix apply to the vertices, select all these 3 objects, and we actually need to plug in the edges. So currently you see if we just plug in the vertices and edges into this guy, they are all at 0, 0, 0, but we want it to be like that with the transform being applied. So what should we do next? Now this is an interesting operation. Basically, bend object along surface is kind of one node that's kind of a true loft operation yet, but it's kind of really good because you will understand how these nodes actually work. So bend object along surface now currently operating in the Z operations, and then we have this plane XY that's basically gonna wrap around all this curve and creating a lofting. So let's see how it's working. So plane, let's increase it to 10 by 10, and then this vertices goes in here, and we can hide this for now. Have another viewer draw, plug that in. So now it's doing something, but it's missing this surface. This one is the one that's gonna be like wrapping and bending. So this should be coming from the bottom there. And let's have a look. So we already have something. It's almost like too easy. Now the point is kind of doing what it's supposed to do, and then all we need to do is just plug in the polygon, and we seem to have a working lofting. There you go. That's exactly the effects that we want. And what else we can do here? There's this option, cycle U and cycle V. This one is actually to do some kind of a loop. For what we are doing, I think we need cycle V. So it's closing the surface. If I bake it out, you will see that's the new surface. And if I smooth it, it's looking something like that. It's not actually closed. So that's if we actually smooth it a couple of times, you will see it's gonna open up. So if I'm not wrong, you can just use remove doubles and connect the points if you like. Sometimes this guy needs an extra list delete or something before it's able to work. So this is one thing you need to be careful. There you go. List delete level 1 and 3. That's a bit of gotcha there. So now if you smooth it, it's a nice enclosed surface all over. Okay, so what's so special about this? Of course, you can always continue working in the object level. You know, you move the curve, rotate it, and then just update sphere chalk, and it's gonna update itself. And then if you actually continue do the lofting, be careful with the order. That's something you need to think about, because the order gonna matter. So, and currently the group is not selected. We need to select it again here. Get selection. Now the lofting is happening. So be careful, because now it's kind of interesting, because we have all this curve at object level that you can select very easily. You don't need to jump into edit mode and then join the curve and then do the lofting. This one is actually live, and if you say you go inside one of these curve, go inside, and then you add subdivision like what I did earlier, and then do the selection again. Let me hide the sphere chalk one. Make some changes, something like that, you know, like what we did earlier, and then update the surface. You will see that we have new result, and then of course you can increase the resolutions and it's still gonna work. That's pretty amazing. Everything is live, and you can create this kind of alien looking plant. But I think the lofting operation is something that's very useful for parametric modeling. You'll see it in a software like I think Grasshopper or Rhino, and then also Maya, Houdini. They all have this kind of parametric modeling kind of way to model. It's very interesting and very useful. Now we kind of have it inside Blender via this sphere chalk add-on, but this guy is really the one that's responsible. Bend object along surface. So this is not like a true lofting operations, but it's kind of doing it. So you can create very easily create a lot of a lofting, a lot of insects, animals, plants, a lot of objects can be created by lofting, including like a interior design object like chair, or you know, the ones that's usually like more organic in nature. So I think you can really experiment with this. So like I said, the order of this matter. So be careful when you are kind of like selecting one of these curve and then duplicate it, because it will loft based on the sorting of this object. I think this was by default sorted by its names. So Bezier circle 001, 2, 3. So that's important, and make sure you apply the transform matrix, and that's becoming the one that's kind of the wrapper for this plane objects. And also one more thing, currently we just like using plane objects. You can actually turn it, you can use anything, you know, basically like bricks or hexagrid. It will all work with this plane, and it's gonna wrap around this surface. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. For the next live noding, I will try to use the grid or the brick or the hexagon, and then create an interesting like a wrapper. It's a lofting and wrapper, so it's very cool. You can easily create something like a well or like a wall, you know, like a brick walls that's wrapped around an object. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So be careful. A lot of there's this list delete level that sometimes you need to do. That's a little bit of gotcha, but other than that, it's pretty simple. You just bring in like a surface, and then this is the lofting curve, and then it will work. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. If you have any question, and I'll help. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.